Welcome back. Welcome back on another topic for this week. So this is going to be our last slide for this week. Okay. So in this class, we're going to talk about recursion, sorting, shorting, and big O. I'm going to start from the end. What is big O notations? You can say it's a mathematical descriptions how fast a model algorithm work. For example, if the number of size of the input increase, how much the model gets slow is defined. That it's never considered the time, how many seconds it took to complete the work. It's considered steps, how many steps it took to complete the whole process. Okay, so first thing we have to know, what is the time complexity? Time complexity, how much longer does the algorithm take? How much time is taken to complete the whole process? And then it's called space complexity. How much extra does the algorithm require as the dataset grow? When you increase the dataset, how many memories, how much memory that you require to complete the process? Another worst case scenario. In Vigo, usually consider worst case scenario. What the worst case scenario means? For example, you have a list of 80. I'm telling you to get one exact number from the list. Maybe you can get this number very beginning, very first step of the algorithm, or you can get very last step. So usually when you design the algorithms, all the time big O consider the worst case, means the last number is our final number that we are looking for. Okay. Usually there are four different big O notations. One is the O ones, means that is really fantastic, means you can get the numbers that you're looking for very beginning. And as the O log n's is extremely fast for massive data set. If you have like a very big data set, it's very good. And it's called linear, but it's good, but fair, I can say. And it's called quadratic. It is very expensive. It's require a lot of time, a lot of space, very slow for large data set. So mostly when you design the algorithm, try to skip O and a square. Okay. Let's start with explaining one by one. First thing, constant and linear time. What is the constant? This constant means time is limit. Once means you're looking for a number that you got at the very beginning. That is called O1. For example, here you see the get first item data list. You are looking for the first element of the list. Means very beginning one. So that is constant. Another thing is the linear time. You are looking for something that you don't know where the number is in the list. Maybe could be the last elements, could be first elements, very much uncertain. So you have to consider the last element is my destination. So that's why is O1s. Here's the example. I have a find target. This is the list and this is the target. You have to pass the list and you have to pass the target. Here is it. If the item in data list, every time data list, the item is taking the item from the data list, checking the item equal target. Means the target you're looking for is exactly the items is in the list. If it's yes, it will return true. Other than that, it is false if it doesn't find it. Okay. Okay. Another is quadratic. Quadratic is means time complexity one square. For example, if you have like 5 elements, 5 squares, 25. That's good, means you can do it. Consider you have thousands elements. What is gonna be? What is gonna be? It's very big. It will stack your computer. So that's why it's very much expensive. When it happens, mostly when we use really unoptimized sorting algorithms, or we are using nested loops, most of the time we get this kind of quadratic time complexity for our algorithm. Another is called logarithmic times. Mostly we get this kind of logarithm for binary search. Binary means is look for half of the list. For example, you have a list, and one condition for binary search is the list have to be shorted. Means either ascending order, means small to capitals, small number to large number or large to small. Means it has to be short list. If the list is shortest, you can go for binary. Means it will split the whole list in half of two part. So if the numbers that you're looking for is the smaller side, you can look on smaller side. If the look is larger side, you can look on the larger side. So for this type case, we can get O log n, means logarithmic time. Okay. Another important is recursion. The topic that I'm discussing in these slides are mostly you learned it before, but just I'm trying to recap it in this lecture. Okay, what is recursion? Recursion means calling the same functions again and again. For example, here you see I have a function cell district. I'm calling this function again here. So that is called means calling a recursion means I'm calling the function again and again. This is good for alternative loop, and the best use of is like you're looking for something in data structure, mainly data structure. When we're looking for a folder inside a folder, this time is help us to get the folder very efficient time, like O log n time, which is very good. Okay, but main problem is if you don't have something to stop the recursions, then the loop is gonna be continue forever. It's gonna means crash your computer. So you have to something to stop the recursion in certain times. Okay. There are two different things. As I said that one basic thing is you have to have something to stop it. Another thing is you have to have something to go back in the stop. Means the case is called, one is called base case, means what is the condition to stop your loop or recursion. And it's called the recursive step, means you have something that will help you to closer to the base case. If you see the example in the code here, for example, I have a function cut down and it has a parameters n. I'm checking if n is less than equal 0, then it will continue. If it's less than 0, sorry, yeah, then it will not work anymore. So we have to another thing, we have to find something that which will help me to go to the 0. Go to the 0. Here you see. For example, you have 5. All the time it will make it 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. When it will go less than 0, it will stop. There are two things. One is to stop the condition recursions, and then is to find something that will help us to go to the stop conditions. Okay. Here's an example for that. I said find the 4 factorials. How can we work on the factorials? For example, here see define factorials n equal, if n equal 1, return 1. Other than that, you will call all the time same function n into factorials n minus 1. Means it was 4, for example, it was 4, now into n minus 1 means 4 minus 1 is 3 factorial 3. So it will come again these functions. Again, it will continue until it is getting 1, right? So finally, you can print factorial 4 using this, calling this function. Okay, here you see, one is at factorial 4, it is return 4 into factorial 3. Next step, 3 into factorial 2. Next step, 2 into factorial 1. That's how it's work. Here you see, for factorial 4, 4 in first is start 2 into 1, 2, 3 into 2, 6, 4 into 6, 24. That's how the total calculation work. Okay. Another is called linear source. What is the linear sources? As I said, there is O1. Means you have to find a number from the list. I gave you a list, you have to find a number. For example, here, find 42. How can you start? You're going to start a brute force approach here. That is called, the approach that we are following here is called brute force. Means we are looking for every single number. That is called brute force. Okay. So you're looking for 42. The list is 17, 8, 99, 42, and 5. First, you'll check, hey, the number that I'm looking for to do is 17 is equal to the first index. No, it is not. Next, it will move to the 8, then it will move to the 99, then it will move to the 42. When it will find this is the 42 that I'm looking for, this exactly match the list elements and my target elements. Perfect. You can say true. I found it. And index number is whatever you want. Okay, means whatever it is in their list. Okay, and time complexity is 1 again. Okay, now look for binary servers. As I said that for binary, it's a divide and conquer rule. But the main thing of the binary is like it have to shard it. It has the list have to be sharded. Here you see, I have a list 2, 8, 25, 42, 99. Means all the elements in a shard. Means smaller to larger, bigger. Okay. Again, I'm looking for 42. So what is the middle elements? 25, right? I said that I'll split the whole thing into 3 different parts. So the middle one is 25. I'll check that 42 is greater than 25 or smaller than 25. If it's smaller than 25, I can check in the left side of 25. If it's greater than 25, I can check in the right side of the 25. So look, 42 is greater than 25. So I can work on the only in the right side. I don't have to look on the left side. This helps us to already reduce half of the list, right? Here is the algorithm for linear search and binary search. It's very easy. You already know it. I'm not going to explain the whole code for that. You just look. It's very simple to understand. Okay. Okay. Another is called O and square. Where we can get this kind of O and square. Just say that for very unoptimized algorithm. These are selection chart and insertion chart. You know what is the chart is like. Explain the previous classes. So selection chart. The selection chart mainly help us to swipe the smaller element with the largest element in the beginning. Here you see. 2 in the list, 2 is already started, smaller in the whole list. Now 8 here, and there is a 3. 3 will swipe with 8 because 3 is smaller than 8. That's how it's like works, swiping. Another thing is called insertion. Insertion is mainly start looking for the elements and it will check the smallest elements from the list and it will fit the smallest elements in the list. Here you see 3 small in the whole list, then it will be 5, right? So it will come between 3 and 8, between 3 and 8 first, then again it will start sorting others. This way it will whole process work. I'm not going to explain the whole process because that's already covered in the previous slide, previous courses, okay? All right, so for this kind of algorithms, for this kind where we have to use two different loop, we get quadratic big notations. There's O and square. Okay. For example, if I said that if I have 1,000 elements, there's gonna be 1,000 square. Means again it will be I think 100,000 times you have to load the elements. So it's a lot. Here's the algorithm whole process. As I said that I'm not going to briefly explain the algorithm here. Okay, so you can look the algorithm, how does whole process work. Okay. Another is called the upgraded, more efficient. It's called merge sort. That is like upgraded. How does merge sort work? Is follow divide and conquer. First, it's split the whole list half. Again, is half, another half, another until the last elements in a tree. It's kind of a tree. It's a created tree. When it's make the tree again, it's start sorting. It's check the which element between two elements, which elements is smaller. It's shorted. Then it will move forward in the next. Among the 4 elements, which element is going to be smaller? It will come first, then next, then next, then next. This way, it will come to the final list. First, it will divide, then it will conquer, like from smaller to larger, this way. So this is very efficient algorithm where the time complexity is O log n. Okay, O n log n. Sorry, O n log n. Okay. So there are multiple choice questions for you based on the slide. I just said that there are 12 different multiple choice questions you have to answer. For every different lecture, there are four question MCQ, and you have to submit just one single file, answering all 12 multiple choice questions. You don't have to write the whole thing. You just say A, B, C, D, something like that. That's okay. I understand. Thank you so much. See you on the next slide and next lecture. Okay.